Hello, Nava.
Hi, EJ.
You have the dopest look. I love it.
Thanks, really? Oh, that means a lot.
Yeah, it
Thank
looks
you.
so good. How are you? What's happening?
I'm good. I actually just came back from Miami last night, so I'm trying to catch up to my LA speed here, but I'm doing good. How are you?
Isn't it the worst when you're traveling from coast to coast? I don't know if you're like this, but I am. I just cannot get my body clock on the right path. Like I just came from LA, now I'm on the East Coast, and I've been on the East. It's just the worst right now.
Oh man, especially if you probably do it more than I do, so your body clock is probably all over the place constantly.
I should have been a veteran. Like I should be a veteran at doing this, but I'm not. I'm struggling right now.
Are you in the East Coast right now?
Right now, yes.
Okay. So when did you come back from LA recently?
Literally couple of hours ago.
Oh, you're fresh. Like literally just fresh.
I am fresh. We'll get into it, but how's everything going with you? Tell me all the things.
It's good. I'm sure you can see right now. We're in the middle of revamping my whole closet, so I'm like in like mid closet right now. So a lot of things have been happening. Like we're doing a lot of different projects and getting my closet organized. So it's chaotic, but it's a fun chaotic, especially because the holidays are coming up.
Absolutely. How did you get into fashion?
I want to say it was kind of born into fashion in a way because my mom was really into fashion, so it's kind of always been uh I've always just been surrounded by it. But I also went to FIDM here in LA, and I just knew ever since I was younger that I had a passion for fashion. So I've just always been into it.
Added a passion. You had a passion for fashion, and then you added do it yourself into it.
I did. I was like, I'm tired of doing it for everyone else, so let me just show you how to do it. So
Let me tell you, you have to be hella creative. Like you have to have a special eye and hella creative to do something like that.
you think so? I think a lot of
Absolutely. I would not even know where to start.
well, that's why people like me exist, so I can show you how.
Please show me the way. Like, do you also alter outfits? Like, do you ever go to the store or maybe thrift something, right? And you see it and you're like, I can do something different with this. Does that ever happen for you?
Literally every single time I'm at a thrift store or I'm at a store in general, I look at it, I'm like, I could make you into something else, or like I could do something with you. And I think that's probably how I just have so many clothes in my closet because I'll buy something and want to revamp it or like thrift flip it somehow. There's just like so many ideas that come up when I'm shopping.
The one thing that I love about altering clothes is that no one else has it. It's literally uniquely you.
Yes, that's what I love about it too. And it kind of sucks at some point because people will love like what I'm wearing and they'll ask like where'd you get it? And I'm like, "Oh, I made it." So there's no like you can't get the same thing because it's pretty unique. So there's pros and cons to it.
Do people ever come at you and they're like, I need you to make this for me? Like, whatever you have on right now, can you please make this for me?
All the time. I think when I first started sewing more and more clothes for myself, I would just get the most common thing I would get is people asking me if I could make them something or can you make this? Can you make that? And I'm like, here, I have a tutorial. Do you want to just watch the tutorial so you can make it yourself?
Let me tell you, I feel like there are some people out there that they can watch something, they can follow a recipe to a T. Listen, they can follow it to a T, but it still will not come out the way how you did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. You kind of have to have some sort of practice or some sort of eye when it comes to, I guess, sewing or any craft. To be honest, like for me, I feel like I'm pretty skilled in the sewing world, but when it comes to food, I can follow the recipe like exact, and there's something that always just goes wrong. So I totally get it. It could be the same for someone trying to DIY something.
And you're a unicorn because you know how to sew. I feel like no one out there knows how to do that.
Really, we
Yeah.
exist.
I listen, I remember being taught in like home ec, and if you put me in front of a sewing machine, I have no idea what I'm doing.
You were in home ec. That was my favorite class back then.
Only reason why is because we got to cook food and eat. That's it.
That's funny because my favorite part of home ec was the sewing, not so much the food.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at cooking, but I'm really good at the sewing machine. So there's that.
Do do you remember that first outfit that you altered and you thought to yourself, man, maybe I can do this on a consistent basis?
Yes. I mean, I remember the first thing that I ever created or made was like I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I thought this could like I have a career in this. Thinking back to it now and kind of seeing how poorly made it was, like I definitely had the vision back then, but I mean my skills just weren't there. But I knew when I created it, it was like it was basically a hoodie made out of like curtain fabric, like that kind of French looking Baroque fabric. And I thought this was so innovative back in the day. And I had a feeling that maybe this is, maybe I have a career in this. And yeah, but that was a pretty cool piece that I made back then. But
You were saying looking back on it, you realize how poorly made it was. Did you think that in that moment, or is that just like hindsight?
no, I didn't think it at that moment. But to be fair, I was still in high school when I made it, and didn't have like proper sewing technique until I got into college. And I thought it was great for when I first made it, but I didn't know anything about patterns, about measurements and all that. But I think from going from painting t-shirts to creating an actual garment, it was pretty huge for me. So I thought it was really cool back then.
So now you add social media into the mix. How's that working out?
It's it's working out great. I mean, as you know, back in the day, you would artists would just create music, or people would paint and have all this really cool work, but getting it out there was something different. But now with social media, things are just popping up all over, and it could get to someone, like a photo could get to someone from across the world in literally 1 second. So I think it's really cool how social media can really spread and market and really aid in getting your work out there to so many different people.
Isn't that amazing when you think about like how for the pro of social media, like how you can be exposed, how people can learn your work, how you can get new followers. But then also on the flip side of it, it's just sometimes people be on social media doing the absolute most in the comments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? How do you
Oh,
not let that affect you?
that's a great question, because to be, if I'm being real, like it does affect me. I mean, I do constantly have to tell myself, or try to remember that mean comments don't reflect your own character. And so that's still something that I do struggle with, is knowing that some people could just write something so negatively and put their phone down and then just walk away with it. But you're kind of sitting there and just really soaking it in. But at the end of the day, that negative comment shouldn't really mean anything. And that it doesn't reflect who I am as a person. So I mean, if we're being honest, I'm still working on that.
It's interesting because I tell you what, I think the political thing to say is, oh, it doesn't affect me, but in reality it does. But how does it keep you going, essentially, because it doesn't affect you enough that you are like, I'm not doing this ever again? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's so true. I think what I tend to look at more is that there's one comment, but then on top of that one comment, there's probably 100 other really positive comments that are right next to that negative comment. And so I just have to focus on the people that really do support me and like actually love my work, versus that one comment that's like, oh, that wasn't a cute Barbie outfit, and like so I just have to really focus on the positive. I think that's what really helps me to keep going and produce the content that these people actually want to see.
Do you remember that first video you posted that went viral?
Yes, it was such a weird feeling, to be honest. And actually that first video ended up becoming a trend. Like it was COVID time. It was a I don't know if you remember the trend. It was when people were they were like putting themselves in outfits of like what they would wear if they were like in this movie or in this TV show. And it was to that popular TikTok song, by Chris Waters. I think that's his name. I don't remember. I think
Stunning.
is it? Is it that one? Yeah, it was like that trend, and I remember it blew up, and I had no idea that that was going to become a trend. It was just sometimes I would watch movies and TV shows and be like, well, if I was a character in that show, I would wear this. And so I figured I would let me make a TikTok about it. And then, yeah, it ended up becoming a trend. So that was fun.
I'm sure your phone was blowing up off the hook when it first happened.
I thought, you know, when that feeling when something goes viral and you're getting like a bunch of notifications and you're like, did I accidentally post a nude pic or like did something
Right, right.
like, out? I did not know what was happening. And then I had to like double check my phone. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is safe, but this is fun. Yeah.
Did it drive you crazy a little bit?
It did, because I just am not used to that. Um, I wasn't used to that kind of attention so quickly. I didn't know how fast something can go viral, I guess. I didn't know the speed of it. And I mean it just kind of took off from there. And yeah, here we are now.
Looks like it's working for you. Tell us, what are you working on next?
So right now, we're working on a bunch of different fashion projects, like a line coming out, but also currently I'm working with a boba company called Pearly. I don't know if you're a fan of boba, also called like uh oh my god, what is it called? There's like a bubble tea. People call it bubble tea. I'm just so used to calling it boba, but
Right.
a collab with a boba company called Pearly that's coming out soon, and it's at home boba, so you could make boba at home. Yeah.
How do you make the tapioca balls?
Well, so it comes pre-packaged, and all you have to do is microwave it, and you get the powder, and you just have to add water and everything. But it's really good, and I think I like to see it as the future of boba because sometimes you just crave something sweet or just a little boba, a little boba, you know, and you just don't want to go out, and
And
so
now,
you
let me tell you something. Those lines belong sometimes, okay?
right, especially for the good ones.
Exactly. So I get it. Absolutely wanting some boba, just running to your kitchen, popping it in the microwave and doing it. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. It's a nice little medium for someone that is into creating things themselves, which I like to do is like very hands-on. You're basically DIYing boba at this point. So yeah, I'm really
Well,
excited.
I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for jumping on Zoom and chatting with us.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Of course. Thank you.